Hey guys, it's still a cold November morning. In the last video, I was mixing up feed for our milk cows. In this video, I'll be running that feed out and feeding our calves. So, I just got done mixing feed. I have to wait till Mama is done milking and the cows are across the road on pasture before I can run it out. So, while we wait for that, let's go do calf chores. This is our parlor. It's a swing parlor, which means we put one side of cows on, then bring the other side in and get them ready to milk while the other side is milking. However, all I'm in the parlor for right now is these two 5-gallon buckets full of milk for our 8 calves over at the calf barn. Sorry for the shaky video. Trying to carry one 5-gallon bucket and run a camera at the same time is not the easiest thing to do. I bring the bucket up from down in the parlor, take it through the milk house, where we have the bulk tank where we store all our milk, and then put it into the back of the Ranger for the ride over to Don's. Because I'm late. What time is it, Laurel? Okay. The farm where we're raising our calves is about a quarter-mile away from our home place. In between is a big hay field. And there they are. These are our heifers. They will be bred in a couple months. Inside the barn itself, we have our baby calves who were just born about a month ago.
Hi, babies.
They're pretty happy to see me.
How are you?
The first thing I do is start the heifer's water filling. It's made out of an old fertilizer tote. We cut a hole in the front so that they can stick their heads in. It works pretty well. The only disadvantage is you can't put a float in it, so we have to fill it morning and evening. It's time to feed these hungry little calves. This calf setup that we're using, we've used for the past couple years. Before that, we do calf hutches and bottles, which was very inconvenient. We made these pens out of cattle panels ourselves. They have holes cut in the front and the back so that the calf can stick its head through to get water and hay and grain. But the coolest part about these pens, in my opinion, is the fact that when we're done with them, we can fold all the pens up so that they lay completely flat for storage. Alright, so this is what we call our nipple panel system. I mentioned it in the video we moved calves in and then forgot to explain it. So, basically what it is this is a 15-gallon barrel that's been cut into quarters. We drilled a hole through it to put the nipple in. We use peach teats. Move your mouth for a minute, Julie. Ow. And then we use, I don't know what size tube, in quarter-inch or something, and run the tube from the peach teat down into a 5-gallon bucket, and they get 1 gallon for feeding. We feed them twice a day. And these two older ones are 9 weeks old now, so they're about to get weaned. They're not going to be happy about that. So that's the nipple panel system. It's worked pretty well for us. Much better than having to wash 8 or 10 bottles like we used to do it the first year we raised calves. Like I said, we cut holes in the door panel for their hay and grain buckets. We use small Menards buckets. The calves quickly learned to stick their heads through to get their feed. As soon as the calves move over here, we offer them an organic calf starter. It has cracked corn, soybeans, oats, and then some pellets, which I'm not completely sure what are in those. Between getting 2 gallons of milk per day and how fast they get on the hay and grain that we feed them, our calves grow very fast.
Hi, Comet.
This is Comet. She's one of our breeding age heifers.
Hi, Comet.
They live right next door to each other. And calf chores are done for this morning. Look who's here to make sure I'm doing everything right. What are you over here for?
I have to check on you. drive the Ranger back too fast.
I'm gonna come back at 45 miles per hour.
No, you probably won't make it back.
Don't worry, I don't drive that fast.
Hi. Hey. Hey, Goober.
All right.
See you.
I think he wants to race. Back at the home place, I have to quickly wash buckets so I can go out and make the cows break.
Yeah, I'm out here checking the cow break, which I think Daniel made it last night. That's where they were yesterday, or maybe it was the day before. The grass really isn't growing anymore. It's only like that tall. And it's pretty thin and spiky, so... Hi, Gypsy, what are you doing? What are you doing? So, yeah, grazing's almost done for this year.
Since we're organic, our cows have to be out on pasture as much as possible, so we take them across the road every morning and every night when the weather is nice. Once the cows are across, I can run the feed out. Almost all our pasture is across the road, so we have to cross the road a lot of times. Luckily, our road isn't very busy. We do have a little bit of pasture on the home side, but we have to use that for the dry cows. The cows are out on pasture, so the barn is empty and it's time to run out feed. Getting the tractor and the mixer wagon into the barn at the proper spot to run out feed can be a little tricky because the slab where we mix feed slopes up just a little bit in front of the entrance into the barn. The first time I had to do it was a little scary, but I've got it figured out now. Once the mixer wagon is lined up along the feed bunks, I start the PTO, rev the tractor up, and open the discharge door, and start running the feed out. I have about 5,000 pounds of feed to run out along a 150 feet long stretch of feed bunk. We have headlocks for up to 74 cows, but we are only milking about 65 currently. I have about 3,400 pounds of feed left, which is about perfect because when I have that much left of this middle crossover, it means I have enough for the rest of the feed bunk. I put the tractor in second gear so I'm not going too fast. Next, I push the PTO lever forward and quickly rev up the tractor so I don't kill it. I want it between 1,500 and 2,000 RPMs. I check to make sure that the mixer wagon screws are turning. And then I grab this lever and I push it back to raise the door up. Watch that door slide up. And then the feed will start spilling out. I keep my front tire about 1.5 feet away from the feed bunk curb. That way the feed is directly in front of the headlocks. At the same time, I have to monitor how much feed I have left in the mixer wagon and keep the tractor moving so that I don't leave great big piles in front of some headlocks and not any in front of others. When I'm at the end of the feed bunk and the mixer wagon is empty, I push the lever back to close the door, shut the PTO off, rev the tractor down, put it into fourth gear, and take the tractor around the barn. All I have to do now is put this thing away. Daniel normally backs it back into place in the barn, but I'm not that great a backer, so I take the tractor and mixer wagon all the way back around and line it up this way. We use our skid loader and a tire to push up the cow's feed, so we have to park the tractor and the mixer wagon up as close to the opposite wall as we can get. Once in place, I take the tractor out of gear and put it into neutral, rev the tractor way down, turn the key off, and then pull out the kill lever. All the feed is done. Alright. All I gotta do now is shut off the scale.
All right. And that's how I mix feed. And there's breakfast for the cows whenever they come in off pasture. Now after spending all that time making their breakfast, let's go get me some breakfast, because I'm starving. Aren't you, Gypsy? Are you starving?